She said in her first 100 days she wants a process which will give amnesty to all of these people who shouldn't be here and came here illegally.
Hispanic and Latino immigrants represent 42% of American unskilled labor.
We need to build a wall, and we also need a deportation force.
The wall will cost an estimated $25 billion that, quote, Mexico will pay for. I would love my colleagues to explain how that'll happen.
We need to completely repeal and replace Obamacare.
The day that Obamacare is repealed, 20 million Americans lose health insurance.
We have to fix the programs before we can put more people into them.
Federal regulations will cost the economy more than $2 trillion.
By lowering taxes and lessening regulation, we will have tremendous economic growth.
An investment, including into infrastructure and education, is what creates economic mobility. It's what spurs economic growth.
He wants to appoint judges who will uphold the Constitution the way it was intended by our founders.
The Supreme Court does not sway with popular opinion. It is supposed to uphold the Constitution.
There was a time in this country where slavery was the majority opinion, where segregation was the majority opinion.
The Supreme Court should be a reflection of the country and the progress that we've made.
It does move with the people. That's why we have marriage equality. That's why women can vote. That's why minorities can vote.
Right now the government is too involved in student loans, and we need to bring that to private banks.
Donald Trump will give tax breaks to colleges that lower their costs and become more efficient.
She's guaranteeing higher state funding if states guarantee a decline in education cost. For families making $30,000 a year, college tuitions currently takes up 62% of their income. Through Hillary's plan, this makes college expenses fall to $6,000, which makes it possible to work your way through college.
Her plan includes an increase in tax on the wealthiest individuals. Trump's plan reduces revenue over 10 years by $6.1 trillion.
We need to just scrap the entire tax code and start from the beginning with flat taxes.
They're always talking about soaking the rich, but really they are attacking small businesses because they're not filing under the corporate tax code. If we want to talk about revenue, we should look at history. When we lower tax rates, we actually got more revenue. This is a vote between whether we want more war or less. We're going to fight terrorism, we're going to fight ISIS, and we're not going to get involved in the dangerous Syrian civil war that we know nothing about. It will lead to the deaths, perhaps, of hundreds of thousands of minorities there. We should follow Israel. Israel recognizes that we don't have a dog in this fight and that we should make Russia our ally on this issue.
She wants to cooperate with our allies, unlike candidate Trump.
It's very hard to come to the table and work with people, as Barack Obama has been trying to do for the last 6 months with Russia, when they are literally funding, right, a genocidal regime.
Hillary does not want to go in and bomb and leave, but she wants to support the people there and help them maintain their own peace.
To stereotype an entire group of people is so wrong. My brother, personally, being a cop, who has to go to work every day fearful for his life. We need to go to the root of the problem, and we need to look at Trump's economic plans to help build the education and the opportunities for these African American communities.
She wants to reform mandatory minimums, fix sentencing disparities, end the use of private prisons, make the prison system more of a rehabilitation. We should be working to rehabilitate them, to fix the root cause of the issue, rather than just say, let's fix the economy first and that'll trickle down to communities of color.
Also, you spoke about how your brother is a policeman and how he feels endangered, but every black woman and black man, when they walk on the street, they feel unsafe, and they didn't sign up for that. They didn't sign a contract to feel unsafe. They were just born black.
Hillary has so much strings attached to her. Saudi Arabia, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America.
She never says Washington's corrupt because she's corrupt. She's in bed with all these special interests.
She received a neutral rating from Wall Street. She voted for expanding regulation on banking.
Russia is already flying planes over Syria, and she's going to say that if they keep doing so, we're going to shoot them down. That's a dangerous step into war. NATO has been going from what was a great organization during the Cold War that stopped communism to an organization now that has had no mission. It wants to target terrorists. That's what we should be doing. Those are the bad guys.
He's too inept to understand nuclear policy, or B, he doesn't give a shit.
So for years, America has had a strong alliances with the world, and NATO is one of them. But Donald Trump wants to dismantle these bonds that have supported us for the past decades. War is prevented by creating diplomatic agreements with other nations.
I thought it was a good discussion of ideas.
I liked how the students brought in more genuine emotion into the debates than the actual candidates did.
Seeing students who were informed about the issues and could easily talk about things that honestly the candidates don't even talk about.
I believe that if they hit each other more with facts and actually data, it could have been more effective.
The point of the debate is to bring the two bipolar ideologies to a clash. I think there wasn't enough clash tonight.
Democrats of Emory.
The Young Democrats, and I'm not surprised that they were really good on the question of immigration. The conversation that the college Republicans were having on the question of foreign policy, both in terms of Syria and in terms of Russia, was outstanding.
I felt that the Democratic side, their comments on taxes were quite good, while the Republicans, they had better points regarding Russia and Syria.
I think it was a bit of a stalemate, honestly.
In my opinion, the debate was a draw.